ourselves a big old winner right here in the state of Florida. The Mega Millions jackpot last night was nearing $800 million with a $344.2 million cash option. And that one lone winning ticket was sold in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Don't have any details exactly where or whom, but if you have a coworker that's not showing up today, maybe it is them.
Hopefully you weren't in that lottery pool with them and then they went missing with the ticket.
Yeah, right. I got to tell you, all that lottery stuff, it gets a little bit questionable because you throw money into the mix and you have verbal agreements where people are like, you never said that. No, we didn't agree to that. And it can create some serious problems here that is quite an entanglement. And our email for KVJ Court is one of these kind of lottery entanglements. Now, it's not a $800 million payout. It's much less, but still, it's a decent chunk of money. Now, the email that we got here that I edited down a little bit because it was very lengthy, but it says, my brother works for me in my company. A few months ago, I gave him some money to get us some lunch, some drinks, and lottery tickets. On the way back to work, my brother starts scratching off all the tickets. Well, one of them hits for a $100,000 jackpot.
Wow.
I don't know anything about this. My brother walks right into work and he said, you know what? I quit. Hey, what do you mean you quit? He didn't tell me about the lottery ticket, of course. He just says, you know what? I got to sort out some things in my life. I got some personal issues.
That was quick.
Yeah, he's like, I just don't want to be a burden on you as I work things out, but I don't feel like my head is in this right now, and I need to figure out what I need to do with myself. Needless to say, I'm a little stunned because, I mean, the morning was fine. All of a sudden during a lunch break, he just flips on a dime. So I didn't think too much about it. But in 2 weeks, I go to my mom's house and my brother's there. Now, I didn't know he was there because what's in the driveway is a nice new car. So I did comment when I got in there and found out that it was his. I'm like, well, that's kind of odd that somebody quits a job and then decides to buy a brand new car. Now, my mom says, look, you should just be happy for your brother. And then after he left, because we got a little bit of a fight because I started saying, you know, about his car and about why you quit and all that kind of stuff. And I think they might have a bit of a contentious relationship. Mom's always the peacemaker. And I think she sticks up for his little brother a lot. Well, she lets it slip in the conversation. She's like, you need to be happy for your brother that he came into some money. Like, what do you mean he came into some money? Well, a few days later, I'm still thinking about this because it didn't click to me right away, the lottery ticket. And then I started thinking about how many he typically gets, and I realized, you know what? He normally gets like 5 tickets. He came back with 4. Like, what was going on here? I didn't go through the whole math, but as this is happening, I start to kind of figure it out. Now I'm kind of fuming. This whole thing is going on, and I start pressing my brother a little bit more when I see him the next time at my mother's house. He finally admits to me that one of the tickets that he brought back was a winner. And I told him immediately, I said, I want every single penny that you got off that $100,000. And he's like, well, you know, part of it I don't have anymore. I can't give you $100,000. He's like, how about I give you 10? And he's like, okay, so you win $100,000 off money I gave you for a scratch off, and you want to give me $10,000 of that $100,000? I'm like, no. So I laugh in his face, and I tell him, like, you know what? You're going to be here for my attorney. My mom's like, oh, no, boys, we can't be suing each other. And then he takes off again. My mom's been begging me to drop it, not sue my brother. But I told her that what he did was theft, and I'm not going to stand for it. My wife agrees with my mom, and she's trying to tell me, you know what? Just look at it as like severance pay. I'm like, severance pay? He quit. My brother quit. He left me high and dry on the job. He then takes my money. And why am I the bad guy in all this? I think a good humbling would be great for my brother, and it's exactly what he needs. But yet I've got my mom and my wife saying, no, just let it go. It's whatever. Would you still sue?
I don't even know, like, how much money you guys are going to get after you pay the attorneys now. If you sue, now it's going to be diminished significantly, and you don't get $100,000 if you win $100,000. You got to pay taxes on that. So
yeah. I always, anytime you get that kind of money, I always take like 35% off right in my brain and go, okay, it's not going to be that. It's going to be at least 35% less.
Right. So the money is not like $100,000 still.
Right.
And then if you pay lawyers, it's certainly not going to be $100,000 still. And here's what I think. I think you guys should split the money fair and half because he did the legwork that you didn't want to do. Yeah, you funded the project and you said, get me lotto tickets, but you didn't get off your ass and go get them. He went and got them. So that's a 50-50 split.
Yeah, and that's really where I had questions on this because I don't know the legalities. And, the lottery stuff gets so questionable. And I'm thinking today of the Mega Millions and people who do these lottery pools at work, or you have a loved one or a family member that goes buys the tickets. And now all of a sudden you're talking about either $100,000 or $800 million. Either way, people get weird when you throw money into the mix. And I've seen people for money that will do things that are uncharacteristic and I never thought that they would do, or act a way I never thought they would.
Absolutely.
Here's the lesson when it comes to the lottery. If you want to win the lottery, go get off your butt, do it yourself, buy it with your own money, and don't get into these sharing situations. I'll buy if you fly, because the person that's buying the tickets, they're going to feel like they are owed a little bit, because to Virginia's point, they did the legwork. There's something there. They were there getting the tickets, so they're going to expect something. A lot of people would.
Yeah, so I knew that I didn't necessarily have the legal expertise on this, so I got a hold of my buddy Brian Lebovic, and he and his wife Esther are going to explain this. And when I sent him a little bit of the email, he's like, oh my gosh. He's like, this is a wild case. I think there's a lot of ups and downs, twists and turns on this.
Billable hours.
Well, that's it. So the question is, for $100,000, is it even worth it?
Well, you're not entitled to 100. You're not even entitled to 50. You're entitled to whatever 50 is after taxes, which is probably like 35.
Yeah, somebody broke it down. They said with Florida Lotto, the lottery office takes 25% before you leave the office. Then the IRS taxes you on the $100,000 at the end of the year. And after all taxes, you'd end up with about $64,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's really what you got. So the brother's taken, let's say he's even doing taxes, right? I'm not one to guess where the brother is on this, but he sounds a little reckless with his life decisions.
The brother is going to have the IRS looking for him in a couple of years.
Maybe, but he's spent who knows how much of that $64,000 on that car. I don't know if he didn't state if it was a lease or if he bought it outright. So that is the one detail I don't know. But I didn't know even how you approach this. And I got to tell you, some of these lottery things are very questionable to me, and I don't know where the law comes in on this. You think about all the people right now, because the Mega Millions was huge last night. The Powerball jackpot is $663 million at least for the drawing that's happening tonight.
Oh,
so
wow.
People might be today talking about, hey, let's pool our money together.
Until they hear this segment.
The first rule about winning the lottery is telling nobody you won the lottery.
And then you got coworkers, so they might know.
Well, buy your own ticket. As soon as you pool.
Don't pool.
As soon as you pool, you better trust everybody you're pooling with.
I would not pool with that. I mean, there's certain people I would pool with, but you're right. You better know who you are pooling with. But Kevin's right. You think you know somebody. Money can change people, man. And they get real weird with it.
Look, I agree with the mom and the wife on this. I don't think it's worth blowing this thing up to sue. And my first question was, I don't know the legalities of this, but I know Brian Lebovic does. And my first question for you, Brian, is this even worth it? I mean, we're chasing a $100,000 scratch-off prize that is now really $64,000. What would you do if you were the older brother? He wants to sue his younger brother over this. Is it worth it? What is he even going to get?
So it's a spectacular family question, right? Like, everybody's got a relationship with their family and how much you want to preserve that. I think that you guys said the older brother was employing the younger brother.
Yes, he was.
So that kind of blows your prospects of future employment, because if you're that stupid that you rip off your family for $60,000 and that's it, that's the rest of my life, I'm retiring on this. It seems like a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying. I want to jump to conclusions.
What kind of judgment does the younger brother really have? The
right?
Younger brother's like, all right, my younger brother's a nincompoop and I am not going to keep him employed. So at a family law level, I guess, is it worth it? Probably not. At a collection level, if you're a lawyer, you're looking at this and you're saying, you're going to have to charge the guy to sue the guy. That lawsuit just to get to court would probably be the whole $64,000 of winnings if you charge him an hourly to get it to court and try the case and take the depots and do all that. It could be a lot of money, so probably not worth it there. Plus, collectability. like, how collectible is a guy that's going to steal from his older employed, the guy employing him, who also happens to be his brother.
True.
So this guy's probably not collectible. The wisdom of a man who runs out and buys a car with it, great asset. That's going to appreciate for you.
You're right. This younger brother really is an idiot.
I would take the 10 grand he offered you, and you're a winner.
Yeah.
At a practical level, take the money and run and be like, dude, I'm sorry that you did that. I'm never going to trust you with anything again in my life, but, enjoy it because
But let me ask you this question, because I think we can agree. I don't think it sounds like the right move to sue, but how does this work? If I had an employee and I said, hey, will you go out and get me some stuff and pick up some lottery tickets? And they do that almost as an errand. And then they come back and that lottery ticket hits. Let's say I'm winning $800 million or something like that. Can my employee then try to sue me and say that, no, I actually purchased the ticket and it should be mine? How does that even sort out with these lottery cases?
It's all fact-based. It's all fact-based. So if it's this employer situation, I think that it could rise to a criminal level of theft against the employer because the employer gave the employee money. The employer sent the employee on a task. I guarantee you if there was no winnings and the employee got into an accident somehow on the way, he'd be collecting workers' compensation insurance. So he'd say he was employed at the time that he purchased it.
Totally.
So they could call the cops and be like, he stole it from the business, right?
Oh, wow.
It's business money.
Okay.
Now, it would be that, most likely would be that if it were an office pool, because there's case law on point with office pools that the Supreme Court said, yeah, that's, like pooled money agency theory applies, and you can sue the guy that's trying to run away from it civilly and make it a criminal action if there's intent there. So it's really complex. I mean, at a legal level, it's not a contract case. If it was two brothers and one just said to the other, hey, here's $10, go buy us some lottery tickets. If he says, go buy us some lottery tickets, now it's, us,
right.
What does us mean? Or go buy me some lottery tickets, but there's offer, acceptance, consideration is what you need for a contract. He offered to do it. The guy accepted the task of doing it, but there's no consideration if there's no reward.
And how do you prove
that?
When you get to court, if you haven't signed anything and it's a he said, she said, or he said, or you said, no, you said us. No, I didn't. I said me. How does a court even deal with that if you had two brothers trying to say that?
Who's more credible in front of a jury is what it ends up being. And under the standards in the law, right? So the standard in the law in a civil case is not beyond a reasonable doubt, right? It's preponderance of the evidence, which means just a little bit over 50%. So you only have to prove it. And if you're more credible than your brother and the jury buys it, then you win. And that could be either way on that analysis. If one saying one thing and one saying the other.
Got Brian Lebovic on here. And my question, because last night we had an $800 million Mega Millions jackpot that hit. One ticket sold in Florida. Let's hope they're listening to KVJ right now. And tonight,
I'm going to go check my ticket now.
Right? Everybody's scrambling.
And then tonight you got a $663+ million Powerball jackpot drawing. Now, let's say people today at work are going to pool the money together. What are the legalities on that? Because I could see a couple situations where some person tries to take more than their share, or one person says, no, I put in more money than anybody else. What do people need to know today listening? If they pool their money for a lottery, how do you not become a victim and wind up with nothing and somebody in your office taking all of it?
So, you have a pool of money, and that means you have a pool of people, which means you have a pool of testimony, right?
Yeah.
And you get 20 people all chipping in, and they're all like, we all agreed to chip in, and 19 guy was like, no, they said they were donating money to my retirement fund, and I just played the lottery with their donations. Who's going to be credible in front of a jury, right? So there's a case in Florida, Browning v. Poirier, that specifically speaks to these employment pools, because obviously people have thought about them beforehand, and it says, everybody divvies it up pro rata.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that is kind of
what does pro rata mean?
Yeah.
Good question.
The amount, like if there's 20 tickets and they win $20, they each get $1.
Okay.
So everybody gets the amount that they put in. So if they each put in $1, but if one guy put in $10 and 10 people put in $1, one guy would get half and the other people would get, 1/20.
Yeah.
Or 1/10.
All right.
I'm sorry for the stupid questions. We're kind of dumb when it comes to the law.
Yeah.
No, I know. That was a good one because I didn't admit. Yeah.
We'd balance our dumb pro rata.
Oh, look at that. Lawyer.
Use it in a sentence. Very nice. All right, Brian. Thank you so much.
Says in the family, too, when she looks at me.
Tell your wife, Esther, we said hello. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Be good, everybody. Have a great morning.
You
All
too.
right, so-
Bye.
Wow, that's some tricky stuff. See, that's what scares me. Whenever I see people doing those pools, I'm like, man, that just feels like that could get really ugly if that ticket hits.
You're right. I say do it on your own. Now, when you win the lottery, is it reported in the media with your name, or can you stay private with that?
I think some people have remained anonymous.
Yeah, you can be anonymous. They say what you should do is immediately go see a financial planner, set up a trust.
Tell nobody you
Tell
won.
nobody. Let the trust claim the money. So, if you die, the money still comes in.
What a badass move that'd be, though. You don't tell anybody you won millions of dollars in the lottery. You got it in your savings or whatever, however you do it, and you still go to work. But knowing you've got all that in your...
You should. That'd be the smart move.
That would be the smart way. But is anybody able to do that?
First thing you do is you call attorneys. You get that kind of stuff going on. You get
a Lamborghini.
No.
I would still love to come to work.
You're living in an apartment and you got a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Got a lot of people texting in saying that there are a lot of states that allow you to remain anonymous when you win the lottery, but Florida is not one of them.
Really?
Dang, they blow your spot up.
Damn.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, so whoever won that Mega Millions in Florida last night is, I guess, going to be identified pretty quick. I guess we'll figure out who it is. I'm just kind of see if they've blown up their spot yet. Now, I'd like to know where, too.
Yeah, what's the town?
Yeah, what's their soch?
How would that feel, though, knowing that you won that? I would be terrified.
I would
really
be, too.
would. Because everybody's all like, how many wolves and sharks are coming after you right now? You think about the scams I get, and I got no money. I mean, imagine if it was publicized that I had $800 million, the amount of people that are coming for me.
I forget what documentary or show I was watching, but they were interviewing people with the kind of like the curse of the lottery thing, and they said when people found out they won the lottery, they'd get calls throughout the night saying, "My daughter is dying, we need money, please help us."
Jeez.
And they would really play on the emotional part of, "My family's dying, can you help me out?" kind of a thing.
And I mean, most of us know somebody going through or are going to go through medical crisis. How do you say no to a friend that's crying because their kid has cancer?
Well, a friend is different because you can vet out a friend, but when strangers get back in the day, you look at a phone book, there's nowhere to run and hide. I mean, isn't that an insane
My phone
concept?
number might as well be in a phone book. I feel like everybody's got it.
You're right. Everyone knows where I live, too.
Yeah.
They're coming right to your front door.
Yeah,
if you
you're right.
win.
Maybe it was harder back then. Yeah, you're right. What am I talking about?
You are so accessible.
Oh, yeah, you could easily murder me.
Well, we don't know who the Mega Millions winner is, but just know we're watching and looking.
See, that's why you can't tell anybody.
Right, because everybody turns creepy.
It's horrifying.